Hello everyone, this is your soon-to-be Grandmaster caster, LagTTJEcho. I'll be casting a league game between myself, spawning up here on Xel'Naga Caverns as the green Zerg, and I'm going to call him Geno, spawning in the bottom left corner as the blue Terran. So recently, ZVT has become my more favorite matchup. Again, I'm having some trouble with Protoss, but for the first time I'm going to cast this game from just my point of view. That way we can go through everything that I was thinking, why I did everything that I did, and how I possibly won this game. So 2 drones actually moving out. I like to do this on Xel'Naga Caverns, and I actually learned this from watching Root Cats play on Depths of War. He used to do a 4 drone rush, and you can do that because Zerg can't spend their initial minerals fast enough off the one hatchery, which is why you can build as many units as you want and still expand at like 22 supply. So when I decide I still want to expand, instead of doing a 4 drone rush, I do a 2 drone rush in hopes of stalling his barracks, maybe even getting an SCV kill. And I noticed it was very low on health, turned around, got that kill. That made me very happy. Always great to see that. And it doesn't cost too much because he actually has to pull an equal number of SCVs to chase me. So back at home I'm going for standard 14-14. This really, pulling these 2 drones delays my build maybe a couple seconds, nothing huge. I already got that Overlord in the middle of the map, and I actually scouted, came back, and saw that he was going for a 2 racks. So that was all I needed to know. Sent my drones home. Still feeling like I basically already won the game just because I killed one of his workers already. So another thing, getting right to 100 gas and pulling each drone off individually, just enough for link speed, and then gonna get as many minerals as I can. You can see here, he did actually get supply block. That's another thing. Forcing them to pull drones pull SCVs can mess with their opening build orders. And here, actually catching another SCV. I definitely feel like I won the game. Especially since he was trying to block my expansion when, you know, I wasn't even ready to put it up yet anyway, so more wasted money for him. I did actually just made quite a few Zerglings, because if you keep making drones and wait until you see him move out to start making Zerglings, normally you'd be okay if speed finishes, but when he brings workers, a handful of Zerglings might not be enough. And even bringing your drones to help isn't so great when he puts, you know, like a bunker here and a bunker here makes like a pseudo wall. So I actually saw his Marines moving out, and this was so great for me, because we're going to check the production tab and see that I'm actually just making a few more Zerglings and getting a couple drones out. I wasn't sure exactly how many Marines were there. Actually starting my Rotorn as well, because I haven't been able to scout anything, and a lot of people go for like a blue flame Hellion transition. So I'm still just poking around, take a quick look up his ramp and saw the command center. Like, he's making this way too easy by showing me everything I need to see. So I know there's not going to be a stim timing push or a 4 racks all in or any blue flame Hellions anytime soon, since he does have this command center right here. And if we check the income tab, I'm actually slightly behind, but I know that he's still stuck in his base. I have control of the whole map. I have vision of a very good portion of it, and I'm going to be able to start cranking out some drones. So getting that Baneling nest, that way I don't have to make any more Zerglings. If he did try to move out with some sort of all-in or something stupid like that, I could actually just morph these into Banelings, and then get Zerglings once I see him coming, and I'd be fine. So back to the production tab, as I said, still just cranking out a ton of drones. And actually, when my army's idle, I always like to do something, always got to be productive, so I'm taking down the rocks at the gold, and continuing to spread my overlords. A lot of people like to go for medevac drops or banshee play up the side. Taking my second gas, and still making nothing but drones. I really know, like, I'm up 31 to 25 at this point. I know that he's not going to be able to move out for such a long time that I'm safe just having my tech buildings ready. Checking the income tab one more time, up 36 over 27, starting my lair and an evolution chamber. And I can see that he is now just establishing his expansion. So I got that third queen out, just for the creep spread. Creep and banelings are so good at holding early turn pushes, and same thing with roaches for, you know, mid to low numbers of Hellions. We're actually almost even in supply, but I have a 9 harvester count lead. Even though he's mining more minerals than me, that's because of mules, and can't really do anything about that, so I see he actually is moving out here, and this type of army, I immediately start producing Zerglings, as well as the Banelings, just to know, I know I'm ahead right now, so I play it safe, get a few more units, and actually moving over to this Elnaga tower so I can see if his SCVs are coming or anything. So yeah, better to play it safe and survive than to be too greedy and end up getting killed by such a small push, just because I didn't know if he had stim or not, and I actually see him moving back right here. Wasn't too big of a deal for me to make those units, just because, as you can see, I didn't switch back to drones. I continued making units because I like to do a little bit of a push here to try to reset his tank count, and if he actually doesn't have tanks, then he'll just die. I'm making a ton of roaches, getting that bane speed. I thought I was getting roach speed, which I realized after I missed it, so that was kind of unfortunate to find that out. And still just pushing out the creep. I find that on Xel'Naga, if you get the creep to here, it's basically game over. And as you can see, huge supply lead kicking in now. I'm up 90 over 70, oh, 96 over 78. Yeah, if you get the creep here, it basically becomes impossible for him to take a third, unless he takes this one. And even if he does, he really can't leave his base, because this space is so huge that you can flank from all angles. So I took a quick poke, just to see what his building setup was like.
Mutation.
I did get that roach speed and he's still making nothing but units. Let's check the income tab. He's caught up in harvesters, which is no problem with me, because I was taking that gold, and I knew I'd be able to re-drone after this push. Started the +2 weapons. He's actually just starting his siege tech. And I've been saving up my gas this whole time, only spending it on these upgrades. And just morphing a ton of banelings. So he did catch back up in supply. And he's actually past me now. But luckily, if you can engage before they have too many siege tanks, the banelings will really do so good against any Marine Marauder mixture that he has down there. So I separated my army, roaches on one side, banelings on the other, moved in, and his siege tech actually wasn't finished. Banelings coming in perfectly, killing a ton of Marines right here. And I actually regret I did decide to chase his army. I feel like I should have went for the mineral line. But I was making more Zerglings, a ton of Zerglings, just because I thought I was going to be able to kill him. Which, once I realized how little I had left, I was thinking I probably should have made drones. But no problem, starting my Spire, the gold has now finished. And I'm actually got quite a lot of money, so I decided to throw down my Spire. So rather than throwing these units away, as I can see, he's got his bunkers going up, got some Marines out. I just pulled all them back. He still has to prepare because he doesn't know, like, I actually have the money to morph these all into banelings and keep pushing. But rather than do that, I'm just going to re-rally, keep pushing out my creep. Making a ton of roaches. just because a lot of the time, after they hold the push like that, if they do counter, once again, I still felt like I was ahead. He's not going to be taking his gold anytime soon, because my creep is right there. So I decided to get this army up first, just to make sure that there is no way he's going to kill me. And as you can see, the overlords are spread. He hasn't tried any drops just yet, and I didn't have the spire ready, but I would have been able to take minimal damage from anything he tried anyways. So, checking the income tab again, he's still ahead of me. But I know I have the gold, and here he is just trying to take his gold. So I decided, as soon as I saw that, I'm gonna reset his army one more time. So moving in, Roach is splitting off to attack the siege tanks, and the Baneling's just making that M&M just run away. So I pulled back here, didn't want to use the Banes, but then I decided his army's small enough, so I'll move forward. So pushing and checking the production tab, making a ton more Zerglings, and picking off that tank again. Marine Marauder by itself is not great when it has to travel through this much creep, because Speedling Baneling will just tear it to pieces. So as you can see, I've already got a ton of 2-0 lings, and he's sitting at 1-0. And just easily gonna surround this army here. Which he just picked them up. So the late Spire does offer that disadvantage, because he can abuse you with medevacs, but I felt like always going for the early Spire makes it a lot harder to hold off tank marine pushes. So I usually go for the late Spire in ZVT. Also got this 4th base up here on the side, haven't saturated it yet, but making quite a few drones as well as the mutas. Go look at that income tab. Even though we're basically even, for Zerg this is an advantage just because mules, Zerg doesn't really have a way to keep up with mules. So I wasn't sure if I had enough off this right here, and decided that I would let him take the gold base. So just actually pulled back my army and transferred all the drones over here. So not really he's gonna interrupt my mining for a bit, but not really gonna lose anything other than that hatchery. Looking back now, I probably could have killed that if I engaged him here, which a little annoying that he did kill my creep. But I knew that there was still creep here, and as soon as he unsieges the tanks, then I moved in. Easily gonna clean up this army as well. He did send in some reinforcements, but there was just too many of my units there. And now as you can see, I sacrificed that gold, but my income is nearly double his. And that's because all those mules that were helping him stay ahead this whole time have made him mine out his main. And I'm fairly sure because my main is nearly mined out, so I know his is definitely going to be mined out. So I've got over double his income at this point. And just trying to get my Mutalist count up so I can finally start doing some harassment. Retaking that gold. And getting my gas up so I can really start cranking out the mutas. Now, like I said, I got the creep all the way to his door, and he can't move out without me seeing him. So I decided to go check for the 3rd, and this was a little mistake on my part. He shouldn't have even got this 3rd up. I got a little bit lazy with my creep spread, and if I had just got that creep tumor one more spot further, he either wouldn't have been able to put that up, or I would have seen it. So I decided, because I know his main is mined out, and he's mining off of maybe 2 bases, this is probably nearly mined out as well, that I would make a ton of banelings and plus the 3rd. But here he is coming to destroy my 5th expansion as the gold is about to come back up. I stall for as long as possible, cancel that. Usually going to clean off this little army he has here. And I'm not hurting for income or anything, so I just remake it. And here he is just coming to clear out some creep tumors. Creep actually does take a fairly long time to go away, so he really isn't going to be able to take this gold anytime soon. supplies are still